button has been pushed. Hello and welcome. Coming back to you from RockyGrass in Lyons, Colorado. And I have a very special guest because not only is this young lady here to play the final show in the end of a chapter, but we get to discuss what's coming up in the future. I have Bronwyn Keith-Hynes. How are you?
I'm great. I'm at RockyGrass.
Right? Like, how amazing is this?
Oh, it's so awesome.
How many times have you been out here before?
Ooh, I want to say this is my third time.
Yeah.
Thank
And so for you, like, for those of you that don't know, pay a little more attention. You are a phenomenal fiddle player. Like, beyond phenomenal. And so for me, I remember we were at Renewal last year when Billy couldn't play, right? And it was like the initial shock of the first night, and everyone's like, oh no, like, he went home, what's going on? And then I was like, but wait, there's still a bunch of amazing musicians. So then you guys came out there and you absolutely crushed it. I still talk about that set, like Jerry Douglas coming out there with you and the rhythmic dobro playing that he was. How was it for you guys to, like, there's already pressure to come on a stage, right? And like be this big act and play. And now for people in that situation, they weren't ready for it, right? And then does that put more pressure on you guys as a band?
I think we were all a little like, hoping that everyone would, be all for us, despite the disappointment, because we were disappointed too that Philly wasn't going to be there, but they more than gave us love, everyone was really supportive.
Yeah, you guys set that place up. And so it was nice. But now for you guys, like, when I saw that Molly and the Golden Highway had booked for RockyGrass, I was like, yes, I can't wait to go and see them again. And then it was a couple months later that it was announced that the band was disbanding, right? And so here at RockyGrass, tonight's show is actually going to be the, quote, the final show with the Golden Highway and Molly Tuttle, right?
Yeah.
So how is that? Because, I mean, you've been spending years playing together. This has been your life, right?
I know. It's weird. Like, it's kind of flown by. It's been 3.5 years that we've been on the road pretty much nonstop together. So, I think we all kind of miss each other already. Like, we haven't done any shows together since, like, April.
Yeah.
And so we're already like, this almost feels like, we were saying this almost feels like an encore.
Like a reunion
Yeah,
show?
it almost feels like it's like obviously
Because
it's
it's
too soon.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense, but it was wild because I was able to be out there in the morning and it was funny. Molly's like, who let all you people in here during sound check? But like, immediately you guys like jumped on and you just, it's like riding a bike, right? You just like got back into the fit of it. So are you excited for this? Obviously, it's like a double-edged sword, right? It's like, hey, this chapter is ending, but also like you have all these great things on the horizon too, right?
Yeah, I am really excited. I think it's sort of like the right time for everything, and I'm excited to have the time to do my own thing. I've got like a lot of cool festivals booked later this summer.
You are a machine. You have so many shows on the docket, right? And you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stay busy, right?
Yeah.
But like, so did you already have a plan? Like, a lot of musicians, when they're in a band, right? Like, sometimes you don't get to express your voice to its fullest, right? And sometimes you're like, hey, I have these songs that I'm writing, but it doesn't match with what we're currently doing. So how was that for you? And then once you guys started realizing, like, hey, because now, like, okay, Kyle's going on, Shelby's going on, Dom's doing his thing, like, all this stuff has been happening. Did you kind of have that urge to get out there and do something for yourself before then?
I feel like being in Golden Highway, like, gave me the inspiration to want to do my own project. Like, I never really had a desire to do that before Golden Highway started. I always just wanted to be a fiddler in a band. And then I was like, oh, great, I get to be the fiddler in, like, the best band. Like,
yes.
This is insane. And then, I guess a year or two in, I made a solo record.
Yep.
And that was, like, the first time I'd really worked on singing a lot. And
that's where we really got to highlight you, right? Because we didn't get to experience, like, you're a phenomenal fiddle player that we talked about, but there's so much more to you as a musician, right? And so, like, so did this solo project kind of spark this, like, hey, I can do this?
It did, and I started doing all these weekly shows. So actually, there's this dive bar in Nashville called Steve's Lounge, and you know all about that.
Yeah. Kyle's been playing Monday nights there for the last few weeks, right?
So I did Mondays all last year, and that like gave me an outlet to start trying out these shows in real life. And I was like, oh no, the more I do this, the more like really
Yeah,
fun.
you're chasing that dragon
Yeah.
because I mean the sit-ins that you had, the songs that you were playing, the fun. Like I love your vibracious smile when you're playing and you're like into it, right? Like you can see when musicians are having fun and they're enjoying themselves, you feel it, right? And then for us as a crowd, even like a dive bar like Deeds, right? Like you play off of that energy. And so then that's just like feeding you. And now in the back of your head, you're like, okay, well, like how do I keep doing it?
Yeah, so it just kind of worked out the timing. Molly had a bunch of other music that she wanted to do that kind of required different instrumentation, you know?
For sure.
So kind of like, this might work out perfectly.
But then it's crazy because you guys have spent 3.5 years together.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you're doing hundreds of shows, a third of the year or not more, you're out on the road with each other doing stuff. And now it's like, okay, people got married, people are having babies, like life happens at you really fast, right?
Yeah, last year was kind of like a changing time, you know, we found out boys were having babies and I was going to get married and, you know,
Like all these life events, right? And it's just like happening. And so now you're coming into RockyGrass. We get to celebrate Molly Tuttle and the Golden Highway. We get to hear you guys for one last time. Hopefully it's not the last, right?
Oh.
But what's beautiful is then we get to see what all of you guys are going to start doing off on your own.
right, there's like 5 opportunities to see all of us now.
And that's what's really cool is like
Yeah.
now we get to see like before we got to hear you guys all as a whole, right? But now even seeing you in those shows at D's, like who you were having on, some of the covers that you were playing, right? Like and then the fun that you're having and the energy that you bring is just different. And so now that you're gonna start going off on your own, you already have been, and you're continuing on this tour, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you to like make something different of your own?
I'm trying to think. It's like maybe I feel like I put pressure on myself because I want to do the best I can, and you know I want to have a cool solo career, you know. And I hope that works out, but I don't know. I almost feel just like love and support from everyone else, you know. I just feel like everyone's rooting for all of it.
A 1,000%.
I hope, at least.
No, and they are, right? But that's what's cool. It's like, okay, well now we've built this following, you have all these fans, right? And now it's like setting your baby bird free, right? And it's like, okay, fly on your own and then let's support you doing that too. But it's also fun because now you get to start playing different venues, different size venues. The energy in the room has to be a little different from playing these big festival sets, headlining, all this stuff, right?
It is.
It's a different environment for you. So how has that been going? And then navigating it as the front woman, right? Like this is Bronwyn's show.
It's a lot. It's a lot to do. It's way more mental bandwidth than just standing there and playing fiddle. You know, it's just you know.
Yeah.
But it's fun, and I'm like up for the challenge, and I kind of love like I don't know, just being able to like put more of myself out there and like share more.
Well, it's your flavor, right?
Yeah.
It's you. And it's wild because I had your husband Jason on a few months ago and I had an amazing conversation. And it's wild because he left the band that he had been in and now you guys are both like starting these individual careers and it's awesome to see. But then seeing you guys play together, like that is super cool. And then all I imagine is like you guys at home just like ripping these double fiddles. Like how is that home life been? Do you guys like leave the fiddles to the side or do you guys play together or how is that with Jason?
You know, we played a lot together like during the pandemic when we just had so much
Forced
time
to?
at home. Yeah, I mean there's nothing else to do. We were just entertaining ourselves and now I think we both wish we had more time to play together, but the reality feels like we only seem to play together right now and we like have something we need to practice or like
For sure.
but I would like it to get back to just like
Are you guys getting more time together now that you guys have gone on solo careers? Are you able to like coincide your schedules? Because before it's like the nature of the beast, right? You just have to go where we have to go and then we get this time off when we do and it aligns when it does or doesn't.
yeah.
And the summers are jam-packed.
Right, and I'd say now, honestly, I don't think we have that much control because we can't really control like what cool offers come in that we want to take.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can, you know, there are things that we can take together occasionally, or you know, maybe a little bit more.
That's awesome. So now that you're getting to like get out under your own wings and start having your own voice, like finding your flavor, writing your own songs, how has that been? Have you been writing by yourself? Have you been doing that since you started the solo? How has that gone from changing the dynamic?
Man, so I started writing probably last fall, and I've been
writing much before.
not really, other than
It's
instrumental
insane,
stuff.
Bronwyn.
I know, it's kind of wacky. I feel like I just kind of decide to do things, and then I just start doing them. Like I don't
Then
know.
you're full-fledged.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna go for this now. It's kind of the same with bluegrass fiddle at one point, that kind of thing, and now with songwriting.
That's
So-
crazy. So then what do you do for yourself? Like, man, that's insane. You're already an established musician, right? Like, so you have the instrumentation part down. What was that journey like trying to figure out like your writing style?
I mean, I'm very much still in it.
Of course you are, and it's going to continue to keep going. But when you first start, like,
No, I mean, I feel like I would just like kind of. I would think about what are the elements of the song that I really like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how can I draw some of those in, you
Yeah.
know, and try to analyze those, you know? And I've been actually doing a lot of co-writing too, and like learning a lot from that.
that's awesome.
It's like so obviously.
Because then you get people that are like help bringing this up or
Right.
connect some of these dots. And then for you, then maybe down the road, you don't need as much help because you're starting to get a set. Oh, hey, I remember when we were writing this song, here's what we did or what's going on.
Exactly.
So for you, starting with the instrument, when you're writing songs, are you focusing more on like the notes, or are you forced to now look at it from a lyric standpoint and then add tablature on top of it?
I feel like I have to start with some kind of like lyric idea. Like there has to be an end.
Okay.
I can't just be like, I want to write a love song. Like that's too vague. It has to be like, I have this line and that's the angle. Like
Yeah.
what's the, you know?
So with that line, do you like hear it out in the open and then you're like, oh, I really like the way that sounds? Like, because it's so weird talking to all these different musicians. Some people are like, I just like get in the zone and I write 3 songs. And like, it's like, wait, what? How do you do it? And then some people are like, I literally put one sentence into my phone 4 years ago. And then I came back to it and I was like, oh, and now I can add a second sentence. So like the process is different for everybody. So for you, is there somebody that you're like talking with that helps coach or that you're trying to emulate for a process or that you can lean on to? It says, hey, what do you do when this happens? Because people get writer's block or whatever it may be, and it's early in the journey.
Right. Well, it seems like every co-writer I work with has a little bit of a different approach, but you know, it seems like for me, I feel like I get my best ideas right when I'm falling asleep.
Oh,
Like
God.
my mind just like opens up. It's like
So you have
as
like
good as
3
being on
seconds to
drugs.
write it down before you fall asleep and it's gone.
It's annoying, and you kind of have to wake yourself back up to like write it down. So I like, literally have a notepad and pen by my bed, and if I could force myself to like, take it off.
So it's like getting in that dream state and you're like, oh, this is my mojo. No, I need to write this.
and so then it takes me forever to fall asleep some nights.
Because then you're like jacked up, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, now let me do this. Or how to, do you ever like pop up and be like, no, I need to grab the fiddle. I just need to play this lick. Or,
No, I'm like, if I write down these words like that.
so it's mostly the lyrics that you're just trying to save and get.
Yeah, but a lot of my songs have hope.
Yeah, just that little seed is planted
Yeah.
and then you kind of go from there. So for you now, you're off booking your own shows, you're getting stuff together. Have you formulated the band that you want, or is there still kind of an evolution of picking up some of these pieces?
It's still kind of rotating and still trying to figure out who's going to be the best fit. And this year, especially, I've been picking up so many gigs a little bit last minute that like.
It's
not
wild, Bronwyn. I've literally
Yeah,
seen
they
you
keep
play with like
coming in.
17 different bands, but it doesn't matter because they all play towards you, right? And they highlight your part. So for you as the band leader, like, what do you look for somebody that, because like, you have to spend time with them, they have to be a musician, right? There's all these different factors. It's like a dating site,
Right.
but you're not actually dating, but you probably spend more time with your bandmates than you do your significant others at some point.
It's a little sad. Yeah, I know. We've talked about that in Golden Highway. But yeah, I mean, you'd say so they have to be a good hang. They have to be like a nice person, and you know, you have to have like similar values.
For sure.
In some way.
And then, are you ever looking for like musical influence? Like, instead of reaffirming what you already like and the vibes that you like to feel, are you looking for someone to maybe like challenge what you're doing or add a different factor that doesn't come naturally to you? Or as you're putting those pieces together, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I want people that are, you know, have their own voice on their instrument, because I feel like that's the most interesting thing to me, is when everyone has a strong sense of who they are, but they don't have to be the same. You know, it's probably better if they've got a little bit of a different.
different sound or tone or whatever it may be. So then as you like start to grow, you have to figure out like what each person's place is, and then you now have to be that band leader, right?
Yeah.
So is that something that comes naturally, or do you have to like force it to be like, no, okay, Bronwyn, this is what we got to do, or give yourself pep talks?
It actually feels really natural, and not like in like a demand, like, you know.
You're like strong boss lady, like you're gonna do this.
No, not that way.
But you're comfortable, like it's because like some people are like, I would never want to do that, right? And some people are like, I just like being my piece, and then to be the piece, that can change a lot for some people.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I like being my own boss, and
That's
there's
awesome.
kind of a clear idea of what I like.
And now you're just putting pen to paper and trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So then, as you've been doing these shows, you're obviously picking up and learning every way that you're going, right? So what would you tell some of these younger musicians, these up-and-coming bands, right? Because you just said a couple minutes ago, hey, I just wanted to be a fiddle player in a band, right? Like, everybody starts with something, and then you get to your goal, and then it's like the American way, where it's like unattainable to reach what you really want, right? It's like, okay, well, what's next? What's next? So has it been hard for you to like just constantly drive yourself into the ground, be like, okay, well, I need to get this, or I want to get here, because a lot of us want it so quick, right? And we know in the music industry, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Gosh, I do think about that sometimes. I'm like, you know, it would be a little easier on myself if I could just not want to do a solo career. Just like, you know, it would be probably a lot easier to just pick up another fiddle gig. But I don't know. I think I just kind of like the challenge.
We want to hear your voice.
I think I just want to keep growing as a musician, and I just keep seeing like, all right, what's the next way that I could expand myself, expand my creativity, you know?
What was the initial thing that drew you into playing fiddle? Were your parents musicians, or what brought you? Where's home? Where'd you grow up? Because a lot of people, like, they look at us as bluegrass fans, like, oh, you like country music, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, some people don't get it, right? And like, other people do. I'm from Hawaii, so it makes no sense, right? And they're like, oh, how'd you get into blues? I was like, well, a slack key guitar in Hawaii was huge, right? And then I moved to the Midwest as a teenager, and that's when I really started to learn about things. I went to high school with Banjo Dave from Trampled by Turtles.
Yeah.
So I saw them like growing up, and that was like my first, like, oh wow, okay, well, this is different. For you, where was home, and how were you introduced to bluegrass, and how did you pick up the fiddle?
Well, I spent like the first 10 years of my life in
Okay.
I was born in Boston, then we lived in Vermont, and that's where I picked up the fiddle. And apparently I saw a couple girls busting on the street when I was 3, and I told my dad I wanted to do that. So they got me like Suzuki violin lessons, and the Suzuki teacher would teach me some fiddle tunes as well as classical stuff. And I think I was a way better student.
Because Suzuki is a very classical method of learning.
It's kind of a classic way that like they teach little kids to play the violin, and you know, it's a good way to get started. But I just wasn't that drawn to that kind of music, I think. I liked the fiddle tunes. So pretty soon after a couple of years, my parents just got me a fiddle teacher.
So the bug bit you early.
Yeah, but it was, you know, the first kind of fiddle music I was exposed to was Irish music and Celtic music.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I just didn't know about bluegrass. We were up in the Northeast.
It's traditional. So like line for the not line dancing, but like the Celtic dancing and things like that. So you're learning those old jigs and things like. How do you feel like that played into you finding your own sound on the fiddle now?
You know, so we moved to Virginia when I was 10, and I grew up the rest of the way in Virginia, and I started going to these fiddle camps that they would teach a lot of different fiddle styles, and that's where I heard bluegrass as a teenager. I was really drawn to the bluesiness of it and the improvisations. You don't really do that much in Irish music.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Irish music stuff, I feel like the groove of it, there's like a real emphasis on you know, having a good groove and rhythm.
Because it makes you want to move. Yes, it really gets you going.
So I feel like that stuff stuck with me.
That's amazing. And so then, as you start to get here, you get in, you join bands. Molly brings you on the Golden Highway. Now we're here at RockyGrass. You're going to have by Friday night. It may be one of the last shows that you guys play together. Can you talk a little bit about the community of bluegrass and RockyGrass and what it means for us as fans of bluegrass and what this brings to our scene?
Oh man, well, it just means so much to me to be here, you know, RockyGrass and all the bluegrass festivals. I feel like sort of some of the premier festival experiences that you have a bluegrass band and as a musician, you know.
Well, and it's super lucky because we have so many people that jam. They have the academy here, right? So there could be a little 10-year-old Bronwyn that's already here, right? And we're passing it on to that next generation. And it's so cool because we look at foundational bluegrass, but now you guys, as these bands, you're becoming the new voice for that next generation, right? They're going to come and say, oh man, I remember seeing Bronwyn play at this time. And then that was the same inspiration for you. Was there someone as a fiddle player that you really looked up to growing up that you're like, hey, I really love their style or their sound?
Well, when I was playing Celtic music, I was really into Natalie McMaster and Liz Carroll.
That's awesome.
Those were kind of the people I looked up to growing up. But then when I got into bluegrass, like in college and stuff, I mean, it was the Del Caribbean, it was Jason Carter, it was Michael Cleveland. Those were my people that I really, learned a lot from.
So what would you say to these young musicians that are coming to our community, that want to extend, that want to play? What would your advice be to them to continue their love for this?
I mean, I feel like you can go as far as you want to go, but I feel like you kind of have to give it your everything to go farthest. I feel like there is a lot.
This isn't a part-time job.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It depends what you want to do with it. But if you think you want to do it full time and be professional, I think you have to spend a great majority of your life like facing it, practicing and learning and listening, and
It is.
You have to give a lot to it to get a lot back,
1,000%, but that's where and so many of you guys are like so dedicated. And it's wild because I ask people, I'm like, hey, what do you do in your free time? And they're like, I play. They're like, I still play. Yeah. And it's like, but is there something that you're doing to kind of keep your mind free? Because you have to step away a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I do normal stuff too. I like going on walks, and I did a Zumba class at the Y the other day.
Just fun stuff to keep you busy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Just kind of hang out with friends and stuff.
All right. So one last thing is, what do you feel about, like, we said that RockyGrass is like, and it's true, right? It's one of the cornerstone. We're super lucky in Telluride to have Planet Bluegrass here. So we get Telluride, we get RockyGrass. What would you say to the folks that listen to the music that have never been to these festivals? What does that play in for you and for them as fans to be able to experience this in a different way rather than coming to like a singular show?
I mean, I feel like the festival is just so immersive and like, I remember going a lot as a teenager and as a young adult and stuff, and just more as a fan than getting to play on stage. And it felt like the most magical place. It was like this city that existed only for a couple days, and it's like, I always just wanted it to, I was like, could I just live at a festival? Like, I don't know, you can't.
We all feel that way,
If you haven't been to one, you gotta go to one, because it's, I mean, the live shows, singular live shows are amazing in their own way, but this is an immersive experience.
This is it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm excited to see you play tonight. What I'm really excited is you're coming back to Colorado at the end of September. Where can people go to find about your tours, where you're going, your music, being able to support you as Bronwyn Keith-Hynes?
Yeah, well, they can find me on social media, on my Instagram and Facebook, and I've got a website, keithhynes.com, and not hard to find.
Not hard to find. Well, you guys need to make sure to do yourself a favor. Go support this young lady and her phenomenal fiddle playing. I can't wait to see what happens tonight. And Bronwyn, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. It's great talking.
All right. Look.
Thanks for the interview.
Painless.
Get it.
No. Now, can I take a picture?